we have to work just as hard to present the positive things that are going on in the county, in the city, and in the surrounding areas. And one of the things that we looked at is that, especially the county administrator's department, is that her span of control, if those that are in leadership or management position understand that her span of control is too many people that are having to answer directly to her. So we're wanting to restructure or give the leeway to the department's heads to review their department organizational structure and make the necessary changes in order for them to be more efficient at what they're doing and how they're doing their job. So that is my motion to grant them that authority and that ability to do that. The ones we looked at particularly did not require any new position, but pretty much reorganizing some of the things that were already there under their control structure.
Second.
We have a motion made by myself and a second by Supervisor Greer, questioned by Supervisor Stokes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have 4 pages. The restructure, would that be your recommendation on the second page? And what is the 3rd and 4th page?
As you're looking at it, if you go back to your first page, that is the overall county structure that is laid out on paper in those different organizations. It's not saying that all of them need to be changed, but we need to review all of them. The second page deals with the county administrator's department, is what is printed in the book. This is what the county administrative office should look like. And that's not saying that we will go back to that exact sheet. We'll review the entire thing. The third page is what we assume that she's doing, that you have the Board of Supervisors, then the county administrator have all of those departments. I think it's what, 17?
That's just an assumption, the 3rd page.
No, that's actually fact. And one of the things I spoke concerning was the position that I'm in now as supervisor, that I had the unique opportunity of serving just about at every level of city and county government. And one of the things as a permanent zoning, I was part of those departments under her that had to answer directly to her. But it's just too many. There's 14 departments that answer directly to her, and that's underneath her. The last page deals with the fact that not only does she have 14 departments directly under her, she has 5 supervisors and the board itself to answer to above her, as well as all of the different agencies on the side of her. So there's almost 25 different agencies that she's having to answer to on a daily basis, and it makes it very difficult if you're running from problem to problem, incident to incident, for you to be able to promote the county or do some of the positive things within the county. So we wanted to look at especially her department and make some changes there. It would be similar, in my opinion, to the second page, but there will be some changes even possibly to that page there, the second page.
What kind of time frame are we looking at before those
She's
changes?
implemented. I think we'll get out of this meeting around 11 or 12, so maybe around 2 o'clock. Be fine with me.
You're going to have all the changes?
I would like her to start on it at that point in time.
No, she has. I have discussed this with her, and we did talk about it in the work session. So there are some things already in the works and in place, but it's something that we don't need to delay. We need to start dealing with it right now.
Yeah. What? I guess, and I apologize for leaving that today. What changes that we know that you feel that's going to take place, and how would those changes improve county government?
One of the things that I foresee, and again, if you would like to speak concerning it as well, Mr. Davis, I will be able to that to you as well.
Do we have a copy of any of those predicted changes that you want to make?
No, sir. You have what has been proposed or talked about as far as what the existing structure is and what the structure is on the county's books as far as what the structure should be. And then I was reviewing that to see if that needs to be tweaked and how we can more efficiently provide attention to departments so that we can provide better service and more innovations and improvements in those departments.
I guess what I'm specifically trying to get, normally you find changes in government, you are eliminating some, are you merging, are you recreating?
We're looking at all of those we got to this point because of the simple fact that I went to her and said, after observing this as a county employee, and after observing it as a supervisor, something needs to change. And all of those above that you just mentioned, I'm asking of this board to give her the opportunity to do those things, bring those things back to this board.
Okay, now that's what I need. If we vote on something today, it's not implemented. You tell her that she's gonna look at it, bring it back, and then there does make a decision. She's gonna implement it, and we don't have an input. You know, something needs to be made clear.
That would be the pleasure of the board.
As to a certain degree, we can only tell the county administrator so much to do. And I believe it might need to guide us with this by state law. Under this form of government, the county administrator is set up with authority. Now, what I need to hear to feel comfortable with this is that we're saying, okay, we're going to merge operations and inventory. Just as an example, we're going to cut back here, we're going to expand there. And I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing that, okay, you and her had a conversation. We're going to get permission today to go and start looking at things. But as a board, we don't know specifically what she's looking at.
Sure. Administrator Davis.
Well, from my understanding, when Supervisor Reporter approached me about reviewing the structure and how have I been operating thus far, it is my understanding that I am to receive authorization, hopefully from the board today, to allow me to review the structure and present to you a proposed structure. There will be some consideration in consolidating or streamlining within that structure. So, from my understanding, this will be authorization to review the structure and bring a proposal back to the board to consider and support.
Now, my next question. In terms of your review, what do you foresee? Merging some of it, and if we merge some, cutting back on employees, or would employees go with the merger? How would that operate? How would that work?
I do see some joining of certain divisions within departments under the county administrator. I don't necessarily foresee any reduction in staffing, but I will certainly review that. But that has not been something that I initially felt should happen. But certainly functions can be consolidated to make them more efficient and operate in a more harmony. Because there's some overlapping in functions.
Where we at?
We're voting.
Second.
Yes, sir.
It has moved and properly second. All in favor, you sign aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Now, that's just the look, right, Mr. President?
Well, understand.
All right. One other special recognition of county supervisors. As we were looking at some of the things, I would like to acknowledge two of my colleagues here on the board. One is Supervisor Kenneth Stokes for his hard work and efforts over the past weeks in dealing with the MLK celebration, from the banquets to the contest to the parade to you name it. It was happening this weekend. I do hold one thing against him. He did not allow me a budget for enough candy to get from one end of the parade to the other.
I tried to tell you that.
I did too.
And I'm feeling that I lost some votes because of that.
You certainly will if you don't.
And I run out of candy.
Can't run out of candy.
It was so. Supervisor Graham did warn me, and Administrator Davis was directly behind me in the parade. I had to stop my car and run back to her car to get a bag of candy, and I still ran out of candy. But we want to applaud you, your staff, for doing an awesome job of representing Hinds County, the city of Jackson, and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. So we do thank you for that.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for being there. When we first started the celebration, we had to get permission from Mrs. Coretta Scott King. And younger in life, you just we appreciate speaking to Mrs. Coretta Scott King at that time, but since then, you realize what it was an honor, privilege, and a pleasure to speak with her directly. Everything had to go through the King Center when we started. If you're going to do something in honor of Dr. King, you had to get permission from the King Center out of Atlanta. They had to give you permission, you had to let them know what you're going to do. They'd send you a poster with the theme and everything else. And that's how they would grade you as who was number one, number two, and those things. And we thank Hinds County, the city of Jackson, the state of Mississippi for slowly becoming number one celebration in the country. We thank everyone for participating. And, you know, when you talk about candy and the kids, you know, some people say they're for adults. They'll say some mean things or bad words to you. But I don't think I've never seen Miss Cobb run out, man.
I know better.
We thank y'all so much, and it made a big difference. And one of the big, beautiful things that happened at the parade this year was Hinds Junior College Bank. You know, people appreciate Hinds Junior College Bank. We want to thank Dr. Muse. We're going to send a letter to him. And they did a wonderful job in the parade. They allowed by a band out of Houston, Texas. But thank you so much, Mr. President. I want to thank everyone for helping to participate.
Supervisor Graham.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just wanted to say to my colleague, Supervisor Stokes, who's often criticized, ostracized, and as they say in church, name is hung out on the highway.